Alright, so attentional processes have to do with the individual directing his or her attention to the relevant aspects of the model's behavior and its consequences. It's where you're paying attention. This is self-directed, suggesting that what determines where we look at or what we listen to originates inside us. Retentional processes are involved in representing the model's behavior in some way, typically in words or images, to aid recall. In other words, to remember what the model does, we represent what they do in words or images. Observing a model who follows a certain route to get to a particular location, we might encode the model's movements in images or as a sequence of right and left turns. Motor reproductive processes consist of using the symbolic representation stored during retentional processes to guide action. We recall the images or words produced during the retentional process and use them to guide us as we attempt to perform the observed acts. Motivational processes have to do with evaluating the consequences of imitating modeled behavior. Bandura emphasized that the expectations of imitating a behavior were more important than the actual consequences. It is possible to treat observational learning as a variation of operant learning, thus the operant learning model. Modeled behavior in consequences serve as cues that similar behavior will be reinforced or punished in the observer. We attend to environmental events because doing so pays off. We imitate acts that have positive consequences and avoid those with negative consequences because doing so pays off. Now, of course, observational learning has real-life applications in education. If at all possible, a teacher will demonstrate or model a behavior that he or she wishes the students to learn. Observational learning is used to influence social change. We're more likely to learn when there are others around us because the mass of prior knowledge and learning is available to us in addition to our own, and we may observe others as they continue to learn. A monkey learned that washing sand-covered sweet potatoes made them more palatable, in other words, tasty. Within 10 years, the entire community of that monkey was doing the same thing. This is a true story, and it is called social transmission. Free-ranging monkeys in Thailand began flossing with human hair. It is now widespread through that community. Observational learning is very common in humans. Think about a diet commercial. How do they sell it to you? They show you somebody else who used the diet and had positive effects. In this case, the picture shows somebody famous. Overall, we tend to imitate and become like, to some extent, those we spend time with and observe. Have you ever heard the phrase, be careful of the company you keep? A lot of our media and entertainment uses observational learning to change our societal dynamics, increasing feminism, supporting homosexuality, embracing tolerance, etc. Before continuing in the chapter, I would be remiss if I did not tell you about Albert Bandura's Bobo doll. Imagine a large inflatable bowling pin painted to look like a human. That's a Bobo doll. Bandura, in the most famous example of observational learning, had children observe through a glass, observe a model, probably a grown man, punching a Bobo doll. When the man leaves, children were allowed to play with the Bobo doll. Guess what they did?